Millennials are 80 million strong, and with great size comes great influence across culture, economics, and even language as we know it. We're the disruption generation, the now generation, and the Yes Queen generation. And we will be heard. The I Wish You Knew Cafe is open. Hi, everybody. I'm Will Lash, and I'm on the couch with Christina Jones, Maya Prado, Philip Fenty, and Maya Elzine. I'm sorry, Mia Prado. And our social media master over there, Miss Kiera Bell.
Hey, guys.
Hey, girl.
Kiera.
So, let other generations tell it, millennials should be charged with murder. We have collectively killed everything from golf to fabric softener. And we basically have no use for paper, bar soap, or department stores. So how are companies keeping up with the ever-evolving millennial market? And how are companies old and new marketing to our interests? So tell us, what do you think, Phil?
Honestly, I feel like every time I go to buy something at a counter, I'm asked if I'd like to sign up for their email listing. So I don't know, I feel like a lot of these companies that I shop with, a lot of these stores that I shop with know me better than I know myself. And
That's good.
I don't know what the effect of that is all the time.
Well, I think, it's kind of target marketing, right? So basically, we build these profiles online so they know, I mean, you think about it, with Google and Amazon and anything that we do online, they literally know where we're at,
right.
what we buy,
Yep.
you know, what we search. So they know, you're right, they do know everything about us.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's literally teams of people that this is their job to do. So you notice if you're like, if you go on a website and you're looking at a product or something, don't you realize that when you go online, you'll see that on the side panel. You know, you'll see advertisements for that. You'll see the same advertisements popping up on your social media feed on Instagram that says sponsored. Like, what the heck? How do they know?
They're listening to it, listening to our conversation.
Right.
Look at my
So
face.
is that? So do you think that's working for us? Do you think for the millennial generation that's actually a great way to market to us? Or you think that they're missing the mark?
I think that with online shopping and social media, everything is just so accessible. So these businesses are earning so much. And being so accessible with it, these businesses just get on social media. They see that we're interested, in these clothes, things pop up that are related to that. So for example, clothes company, we see, I love this dress. Things pop up from other companies with the same dress or looking similar. Yep. And from there, just businesses just keep going off our feed and they are just listening in. They know us more than we know ourselves.
Yeah, so it is working. I would say, to answer your question, it is working from the position of there's a lack, it lessens our friction. So meaning like they're able to bring stuff to me that they know I like because they know they know more about me than I know myself. The scary part for me though is if you look at tomorrow, no longer are you going to wake up and be like, I want to go buy a sweater. They're going to be telling you what to buy. So it's not going to even be your choice anymore.
You're gonna buy a sweater.
Today.
I don't have to
I was just saying that. Like, at what point will our social media timelines and feeds be tailored based on what we're liking?
Right.
So it's like, to the point where these companies, Amazon and Google, are using our information as a source of currency. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, they do. It is currency.
Yeah.
It
They
is.
buy and sell that data, just like any other brokers who, broker money. Like they broker data. They buy and sell that data to other companies. That's why a lot of times you get to opt in or opt out as to whether or not you want your data to be, on the market to other companies.
But also think about social media influencers. They're they're marketing so many products that they are sponsoring for, and so they earn money too by bringing out the product. So like a simple tag on Instagram, I tag this clothing product. I got it from this website. So then immediately all the followers are just going to go to that.
Right.
And everybody just wants to buy that because a celebrity that you look up to is purchasing this. And so you're automatically like, oh, I should buy that too.
Right.
Or when we're talking about an influencer, somebody who they trust, right? So if you follow an influencer, the idea is that you feel like you know the person.
Yeah.
You feel like they're an expert in whatever area that they, whether it's a fitness person or a fashion person or makeup, person. You trust their judgment. So if they're saying that this is what they use and it works, you're naturally going to go and buy that.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of companies are kind of missing the mark because they haven't used that particular method of, for some companies, they would rather, they try to sell to us. And it's more about communicating and connecting. And that's where the social influencers come into effect.
Yeah.
Because, they actually, there's this like you said, there's a trust there.
So all in
the
all,
old
do you
way of
guys
marketing
think that they, accomplished marketing to us? Because in a sense, with the comments that you guys are making, it seems as if they did their research. They know if we click on something that we're gonna eventually go buy it or we're gonna follow this person. Do you guys think that they really achieved marketing to us in a sense?
Well, to answer your question, back off of what you were saying, Will, is that you're saying no, I don't think that they're necessarily hitting the mark per se, but that's, to me, that opens up a whole new role in society of, because it's data driven now. It's data driven, but we still need to have that connection of like not having it be just superficial data driven where they're just trying to throw stuff at you. They're probably now going to build a whole workforce around like people having to connect, using that data, interpreting that data, and then finding a way for it to like really connect with us in the future. So maybe that's what will become successful.
So now that we know that, are you going to opt into that or opt out of that? Like, do you want that type of,
I think so.
intrusion into your daily life?
A few things, like we're talking about authentic connections. So you said influencers and it's being a trust thing. It's like, what about this person is something we can relate to. It's something that we find like ourselves in this person or in this product or place or whatever. But my question is,
well, let's come back to that and we'll go ahead and take a break. And we'll continue the conversation when we return. Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. So before we left, you had a point you're going to make, Philip. What was that?
yes. So my point is what does the future of business look like? So many people feel comfortable buying things online. You're scrolling, it's just like kind of like it feeds into that whole stereotype of the millennial instant satisfaction,
online addiction,
gratification kind of a thing. But what about those of us that still like to go places and try things on, taste things, get an idea, or like even like situations like online dating, like people, like, how do you market that? How do you market someone's energy online?
It depends.
Some people are good at it.
I know that if I order anything online, it's not gonna fit. Like I have to go and try stuff on. Like that's just what
It's true.
Yeah.
It's real. That's a good point.
I like to try stuff on.
Personally,
Buy it and taste it.
well, I'm not going to
close?
predict the future, but I think that we're gonna continue to get away from that more and more and more and more. I don't know, but maybe one day you'll be able to try on your clothes like dimensions virtually. Virtually.
Yeah, you have a Sims
there's
version
that
of yourself.
already.
Which actually might be better when you think about it, when they can actually just get all
Amazon
of your
is taking
measurements.
over the world. You don't have to go, literally a one-stop shop for everything that you can possibly ever need. And it's cheaper if you go to Amazon. Like you can find multiple options from different vendors for the same thing. You can get your Whole Foods groceries through Amazon in an hour. Like everything has just become so convenient and, in my opinion, kind of like impersonal,
Yeah, and also you're talking about like Amazon. their shipping has gone. You can get same day shipping. So like,
yeah.
let's say you were gonna go to the store and try it on when you got off of work at 5 o'clock. You can just wake up in the morning and be like, hey, maybe have it shipped to you by the time you get home. You could have tried it on and return it.
Ship it back.
I'll just return it if it doesn't fit.
And you would have even probably saved time commuting to the store, and it was from like the comfort of your own home. So that's a pro, maybe even for people who do want to feel it, touch it,
And
experience it.
and also it's not just, you know, a lot of times when we talk about things, you know, because we live in the city, we live in a metropolitan area, so, you know, we have a different perspective, but that is done all, whether you're in middle America or on either side of the coast. You know, if you have access to the internet, you know, that's a win-win.
Everything is in the touch of your hand. You buy groceries, you
Yeah.
buy clothes, and also with going in person, waiting in line. For example, people are impatient, especially with generations for like us. We want things instantly, so we can get it right here. Touch of hand, shopping, apps, everything just comes easily.
Well, at what point does it stop?
That's what
Or
I was thinking.
or
Like, so what does that mean for the
Not gonna
future?
order
The
Yeah, 'cause,
malls
like, it reminds me
close?
there's so much art out there that's been produced that speaks to this point that some you can say is before its time or whatever, but it's like, you know, a book like 1984 comes to mind. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, Sorry to Bother You was an amazing movie that speaks to so many different issues, phenomenons in the society we live in, but the interesting thing, or the main, you know, to the point or the context of the conversation, it's what does this huge corporate situation look like, where everyone's buying everything online, people aren't interacting with each other, people are like sitting in their
But maybe
homes or whatever.
maybe that's the next step too. So, you know, we've got virtual reality where next thing you know, you remember like Total Recall, you remember how that, like,
Yeah.
like literally you can just, anything and everything you do is virtual. Like we can actually have this conversation together, but I'm in my home, you're in your home, and we've got goggles on, but it looks like we're sitting right next to each other.
I feel connected. To be honest, I know a lot of people say there's a lot of stuff in between us as millennials. I feel connected. I feel connected to people. I was really, really shy growing up. I know that for a fact because I am me. But I've been able to like build relationships with people just even off of IG. Like we're IG friends, but we're not necessarily like knowing them in person. Then when you see in person, you're just like, yo, what's up?
Yeah,
like,
but are they the same?
picked up-
Are they the same person in
Exactly.
person? That's
Well,
kinda where
regardless,
we-
but regardless if they're the same person
you
or
have
not, I have an
access.
opportunity
Yeah, you have
to
access.
meet that person. So I
that's
feel like I personally feel connected. Like I don't feel like there's,
Like
I
disconnected.
don't feel like this sterile
Space.
space because
Well,
it's
right. So in that
digital.
regard, it's like the evolution of a pen pal, right? So you can have you can establish a relationship with people that are in other countries, and you know, and you guys can talk to each other more often than you talk to the people that are in your immediate, you know, vicinity, because of that access.
So marketing to me, like so company marketing and them taking my information and then them, you know, filtering that through to what pops on my screen. I don't mind it. I know people have to give up some of their privacy, and that's where for me comes in. It's like, okay, well, how much privacy am I actually willing to give away for you guys to be effective at marketing to me? Right. And I don't have the answer to that right now because it's moving so fast, and like, and whether we want to know it or not, like this, as soon as you use, you know, Apple to
Right,
put
it's when
facial
you have a
recognition,
choice.
China
I don't even
China
think-
has your
You have a
face
choice.
now.
I don't think that they
You don't
even
have
know.
choice.
What even is privacy in the modern world? Like, what does that
I don't
even
think that
look
they
like?
or we even know how much of our privacy we've relinquished. Like, how many of you guys read the terms of an agreement, or do you just click agree and keep it moving?
Right.
Do you know how much of your life you then sold?
Yep. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I told you before, my the acronyms I like are TLDR.
Oh, what's that?
Too long didn't read.
I need you to get it right, buddy.
That's exactly what that, you know, when
Till we
the
show
terms
up
of
in
agreements
court
are.
and you're mad somebody did something. They're like, well, you
Facts.
signed it. I was like, listen, it was
Very
TDLR.
Yes. You need a lawyer next to you to update your phone these days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
so
legit.
true. Yeah.
To
And
run
our,
a
and our
software
phones at that. I
update.
mean, these electronic leashes, you know, we have no idea, you know, like I said, when you buy a new phone, there's so many features that if you don't really read those terms and conditions or opt out of them, then, you know,
Your
they can
your
follow you
conversation's
everywhere
being
you go.
listened to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Because everything you
so-
think,
yeah.
even the apps, they ask if they want to, you know, have access to your camera, access to your mic, all that stuff. So, when we come back, one thing marketers can do to get our attention, speak our language. Stay with us. Welcome back to I Wish You Knew. We talked about millennials. We talked about how millennials have disrupted industries. But what about language? Merriam-Webster's official Scrabble Players Dictionary now recognizes millennial words like selfie and bromance. And the Taco Bell headquarters in Irvine, California even has a Millennial Word of the Week, which is a program that helps employees stay in touch with the company's biggest customer base. What are some of the other ways we are changing up language as we know it? What's the impact for better or worse?
So
What do you think, Mia?
I just want to say it's lit. We're looking a little bougie and we're looking super fire right now.
Bad and bougie.
Bad and bougie. But I just want to ask, do these like lingos, does our millennial language attract you to like different marketing, different businesses, or even products? Or does it kind of draw you away? It's like, why are you jumping into our era? Why are you trying to be us when we're like already establishing it?
Like your old uncle at the family reunion
Yeah.
trying to talk to you. Like,
And that's cool. That's cool if you're using it to bridge a gap, right? But if you're doing it in a way that's forced or you're trying too hard, and you aren't bringing in people from the demographic that you're trying to talk to,
Right.
To make sure it sounds right, like. It looks corny. It looks really corny, and it feels like appropriation.
well, yeah, it's just like when, in one of our other shows when we talked about how having a diverse workforce or people who are in positions to make,
I thought the same
to green light commercials and, and ads and things like that. It's the same way. You need young, millennials in that particular space so that they know how to communicate with
Like
them.
one that I really like, and I do Sweet Green all the time. Sweet Green has a sign on the back of the wall that says "Beats don't kill my vibe." I thought that was so cool. I'm like, they have a millennial working in their marketing department.
Shout out, Sweet
Shout out
Green.
Sweet Green.
And Chopped. I like Chopped. Chopped has some cool little stuff too.
But I mean, it's like we're the up and coming generation, so they have to figure out a way to speak our language. That's just like back in the day, I'm pretty sure they had ways specifically in songs or just, if you went to a club or anything like that, that they used to say, okay, y'all ready to party or something like that. You get what I'm trying to say? So we're up and coming. So they have to figure out a way to talk to us. Like we're not going to pay attention to something that's like, that's old news. We're not using that language anymore.
Well, the fact that
know.
you brought up songs, and that's one way now that a lot of companies are marketing to our generation is, there are there are artists now you don't even know the song until you hear a commercial.
Exactly.
And then next thing you know, that song is now a hit maker because of a commercial.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and then also within the millennial group, there's also lots of different demographics. So it's not just one type of lingo or whatever. So like for me, for marketers, I'm like, whoever you're trying to sell to, you should be able to you're not trying to, it needs to be part of your workforce or your culture or whatever. Like don't try to step outside of that and market to people or target people that you can't necessarily relate to or want to like relate to. So we have
Comes
to,
with that communication. Now we're communicating with emojis, we're communicating with memes. So this is where all of these verbal trends come.
Yo, my
she just
friend- No, but my friend was like, I'm not talking to you anymore because you're only talking to me.
That's all my roommate and I do. We just talk in memes.
Sometimes, okay, so this speaks to the entire conversation we've been having, right, about the digital era that we're living in. It's like, at some point, it's difficult to communicate abstract feelings and emotions with words, so it's like there's always been certain limitations on language and
My mom, she loves the fact that she now knows how to use GIFs.
Emojis are lit.
Like everything she responds to something now, and
GIF.
she's hilarious though.
Make
She puts some
sure you tell them the right way to say it.
I want to go back to the point that you made because we're talking about millennials, right? And we're just the generation that's kind of pushing and making that change. But let's look at the younger generation, right? So they're growing up, children with phones,
Yes.
and knowing like from toddlers knowing how to unlock and use phones, and you know, so this is the only means of communication that they know. You know, us as millennials, the older, you know, on the back end of being millennials, I'm sorry, like the older millennials, the elder millennials, we know how to, like, we are still in touch with our emotions. We still know how to write in cursive. We still know how to communicate, you know, but I don't think that the younger generation is equipped with that at all, you know?
My son, he's 9 years old, and they're not teaching cursive or handwriting like that, even though really cursive should be quicker. It was a way to make writing faster. You would think that they'd want to move faster.
But why write when you type?
Exactly. And what I do want to say is marketers, I actually think they're very, I think it's actually thoughtful to hit me up in my DMs or text me and use emojis rather than sending me an email that's long and it takes a lot of time for me to read. It's more thoughtful to be quick and straight to the point and using the new tools than it is.
TLDR.
So we got it. So we got it. Everybody, Maya likes when people slide in her DMs. Did you get that?
She did say that.
And I'm on camera saying that, so yeah.
Even with you guys, because I'm the elder too, and so you know, when I send you guys text messages, it takes a while for y'all to respond. Like if I DM you.
Like I know you saw it.
I know you if I DM you, I'm gonna get a quicker response than a text message.
I was gonna say shout out to all the millennials out there. Real quick,
Definitely.
I am all about texting. If you're trying to contact me, man, I'm so bad with my email, y'all.
Yes.
It's an issue.
Like if you call, if you call and I don't answer, leave a text.
Right.
Producer,
Well, like,
Brandon,
you know, in our other segment, we were talking about
attest to
careers.
that.
As a recruiter, I actually text people now. You know, and some
You said
people,
you text people now?
by text.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, it goes direct to you. You can't ignore that.
Exactly.
So you can't act like I see
right.
it. Like it's on your screen.
All right, guys. That's it for this edition of I Wish You Knew. And thanks for watching and checking in online as well. And we'll see you next time.